I'm the director of the ProPark Foundation for Protected Areas, which is basically is a team of facilitators which has the main goal to be the main capacity building provider for protected areas and conservation in Romania. This means that basically we organize trainings both from people involved in conservation, but also for organization. So I want to have an assessment here. Please raise a hand who participate to a training organized by ProPark.
Online?
2, 3.
Online, you count?
Also online or face to face. So a few of you have participated, but not only as trainees, but also as teachers. It is time for the rest of you to be present our trainings. We are working. We had working in the past years mainly in Romania, of course, but also in Central and Eastern Europe, with some small projects in north of Africa. But our main focus is in Romania, protected areas. As I told you before, the ProPark strategy is to address capacity building at the individual level, organizational level, and at the system level. When I'm talking about the system, I'm talking about the protected area management system in Romania. So we are struggling to build capacity at the individual level, but it proves to don't be enough due to limitation at the organizational level, organizational structures. But the main limitation is at the system level, which has a lot of inertia in the terms of management and decision makings. So we have different approach to address capacity building at system level. One of our approach is to strengthen the capacity of the general public to put pressure on the environmental national administration. So that's why we are here, to talk a little bit about a topic which is, I hope it is known enough at the general public level about the forest management. The topic is about the forest management and the protected areas management in Romania, but also in other countries. So, first of all, I want to present you a short movie. It is a graph which represents the population growth here with the brown line and the surface of the protected areas worldwide on the green line. I want to make a parallel between these, and I will have also some markers here, which is in Romanian, but I will translate it for you. Markers about the most important timelines in society evolution and in protected area evolution. I will try to translate it fast. Mihai, please. So, after the end of the civil war in America, we will have the first national park in Yellowstone, 1872. Afterwards, we see population growth, the automobile invention, the first Society, bird society in UK.
White brothers.
We have here the first natural reserve in Romania, also the first national parks in Europe, which was in Sweden, the first World War. It is about Romania something. You see the parallel between the lines, the Second World War, and afterwards in Romania, the communist period starting. IUCN establishment, 1961. WWF establishment. You see the parallel between lines. First man on the moon, first agency for environmental conservation in the US, birds directive in Europe, the end of the communist period, habitat directive in Europe, Kyoto Protocol, World Trade Center attack, Johannesburg summit, Natura 2000 designation in Romania, first step. You can stop here. Of course, my point of view is that due to the growth of the population and their needs, it was a growth on the pressure put by the human society on nature. And due to this pressure, the society feel the needs to increase the quality of their own environment by preserving what is valuable in terms of nature. So, I will have an exercise with you, if you allow me. When you are talking with your friends and family about your professional field of work or about your personal interest, and you are talking about the nature, you are talking about you are working in the nature protection field or in nature conservation field. So, with the one of you who are talking about the nature protection, please raise the book like this. And if you are talking about nature conservation, please raise the book like this. So, nature protection, if somebody will ask you what you are doing on your job, and you want to talking about nature protection, here was nature conservation. So red is protection, the other side is conservation. Everybody, please, raise the book. So you are working on nature protection or you are working on nature conservation? I'm your friend and we are drinking a beer in the middle of the city, and after 3 beers I will ask you what you are doing at your job. I'm working in the nature protection. Everybody of you, almost everybody of you, are working on the nature protection. Okay, let's see what's happened in the with those 2 terms. As I show you with the graph, the surface of the protected areas worldwide increased, then then it was a change between nature protection to nature conservation due to complexity of the new protected areas involved in the process. Many of the lands now are not without human intervention in the protected areas. Many of the lands are with human intervention, and some of the natural value in the protected areas are there and are preserved there mainly due to the the human intervention there. So now we are talking about nature conservation field of work, because the main difference is that nature protection, it means mainly non-intervention zones in order to protect nature, while nature conservation means active management in order to protect natural values. So next time if somebody will ask you, what are you doing on your job? I'm working on the nature conservation field. Okay, that's why, because we made this change from nature protection to nature conservation in terms of protected areas. We have different categories of protected areas, both with national designation but also international designation. The protected areas with national designation in Romania follows largely the IUCN categories, starting with scientific reserve, national parks, natural monuments, until natural parks. I try to put them in order here, like scientific reserve are the most preserved area with basically non-intervention, while natural parks management objectives are to preserve the interaction between humans and nature. So to preserve natural value generated in preserved there by the human management. Okay, how many of these do you think, all of these protected areas, how much of Romania's surface do you think is covered by those kind of protected areas? National designation protected areas, which covers around 8%. So you're right, you don't steal. When we are talking about international designation protected areas, the most known are Natura 2000 sites. Okay, if you are so such a good specialist in Natura 2000, please participate again.
I have a question. Is
yes,
with the overlapping areas or
with overlapping?
Okay.
So, if you are thinking about Natura 2000 sites in Romania,
We have it here.
do you think if you think it's less than 15%,
Go to
then
page
it's a book like
59.
this. And how much is this?
You can read it. I don't want
So, if you think it's less than 15%, raise the book like this. Higher than 15%, raise it like this. Higher, no? Less than 15%. Higher.
Yes.
Raise the book like this if you think it's less than 50% Natura 2000 sites in Romania. And higher, like this. Okay. It's 50-50, I see. Okay. If you think it's less than 30%, again, less than 30%. Okay, you're right, because it is around 25%. You are very good. You participate to ProPark training, that's right. Okay, this is a map, but maybe it's not actual map, but it's 99% like this. If you want to look for another data about protected areas in Romania, you can search the Google, but this is a good site. And if you want to see a short movie about the different types of management in different categories of protected areas, you can find a ProPark movie here. In terms of forests, we have a gradient of management approaches on the different categories of protected areas, from non-intervention in scientific research to the sustainable management forestry in Natura 2000. I will try to make 3 big categories of forests all around the protected areas. First, it is the protected forests, which we can find, for example, in scientific reserve or strict protected zone in national parks. Like here, for example, we worked for a while in Căliman National Park. See with the dark yellow here. This is the strict protected zone in the national park. Mainly here we don't have any intervention allowed. It's allowed only scientific research as a benefit for the people, ecotourism and education. In terms of planting, we are not allowed to plant here.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's protected.
Why? Somebody asked why?
Mihai, you can move on.
Okay. He is with us. We have also in natural reserve, forest natural reserve, and in limited resources zone and buffer zone in naturally protected parks, we have so-called managed forest for conservation purposes. Here we apply only conservation management. So in terms of planting, here it's allowed to plant only if the planting is required by the natural value management. I will give you an example in Romania. You know there is many spruce forests growing on the beach ecological area.
Yes.
So one management approach could be to plant beach seedlings under the spruce forest and to thin the forest gradually with a plan for 20 years from now. After 20 years we should have there a beech forest and not a spruce one. If it's in the limited resources zone and buffer zone in natural and national parks. This could be an approach to plant forest. Otherwise, it's not. Of course, only if we have forests destroyed by the anthropic factors or by nature. Yes, and we need to restore the forest there. Okay. We have also in protected areas so-called sustainable managed forests, but in Romania all forests are managed by sustainable principles, not only in protected areas. We have higher principles in Romanian forestry. But what I want to say about this type of forest is that in Natura 2000 site and durable development zones in natural and national parks, we have special restriction in management, restrictions which are not in the other forests which are not included in protected areas. But those kind of restrictions are not so high. It's like to maintain the natural type of forest or preserve the dead wood or to have some restriction regarding the period of harvesting for bird protection. Basically, people would benefit from those forests with all they need in a sustainable way. In terms of planting, here we can plant everywhere if it is allowed by the national legislation. Here is, I have a picture here with Căliman Gurghiu Natura 2000 site, and in those forests, according to management plan we made them, it's not allowed to change the natural type of forests, and I will have another map, but not on this presentation, with forests where the harvesting period are restricted in order to preserve the birds, the biodiversity, but mainly the birds. If you have other questions.